British Airways pilots will strike again as they vow to hit passengers with fresh September 27 walkout after two-day action. Costs airline £80. Nearly 195,000 passengers had travel plans plunged into chaos after strike. The two-day strike caused the cancellation of more than 1,700 flights worldwide. In more bad news for passengers, B.A. confirmed more disruption today by Ed Riley for Mail Online and Sebastian Murphy Bates for Mail Online. Published 16:21 British Summer Time, the 11th of September 2019. Updated 19:30 British Summer Time, the 11th of September 2019. British Airways pilots will hit passengers with fresh strikes later this month after a two-day walkout reportedly cost the airline £80 million. The airline cancelled up to 1 in 10 flights today worldwide as disruption continues after 48 hours of strike action by its pilots. The airline, which operates 850 flights daily, said earlier today that it was planning on operating more than 90% of its services, but thousands of passengers still face more delays. It said almost half the airline's 300 planes and more than 700 pilots started the day in the wrong place, meaning there would be disruption. The British flag carrier said the highly complex global operation means that it will take some time to get back to a completely normal flight schedule. It cancelled at least 71 Heathrow flights and 18 Gatwick flights. Most of the passengers affected were due to fly on domestic or European routes, although long-haul flights from destinations such as the US, India and Pakistan were also cancelled. The airline, which operates 850 flights a day, said that it is planning on operating up to 90% of its services. Pictured, British Airways planes parked on the runway at Heathrow Terminal 5 during the walkout. The airline is offering affected customers refunds or the option to rebook to another date of travel or an alternative airline, and they have told customers to keep checking for updates on their website. Almost 195,000 passengers had their travel plans plunged into chaos after the first two-day walkout in the airline's 100-year history, which began on Monday. Members of the British Airline Pilots Association, (BALPA), said its members strongly supported the strikes, which caused the cancellation of more than 1,700 flights. But passengers have been told to expect yet more delays and confusion after the strike ended at midnight last night. Would-be passengers including Kumar Patel, above, accused BA of disgraceful service, and Twitter user Willie Edward accused pilots of being selfish over their industrial action. British Airways has had to cancel nearly 100% of its flights at London Heathrow, leaving terminals like Heathrow Terminal 5 pictured deserted. An image taken from Flightradar 24 yesterday shows no British Airways flights worldwide. An empty lounge at Heathrow Terminal 5 on Monday morning after the strike action got underway. A spokesman said, "We are very sorry for the disruption BALPA's industrial action has caused our customers. We are doing everything we can to get back to normal and to get our customers to the destinations." It added, "The nature of our highly complex global operation means that it will take some time to get back to a completely normal flight schedule. However, we plan to fly more than 90% of our flights today," it said in an earlier statement. B.A. said, "Due to the union strike action, nearly half of our fleet of over 300 aircraft and more than 700 pilots will start the day in the wrong place." How BA passengers could face more chaos over Christmas. British Airways passengers could face more pilot strikes over Christmas as part of a long-term campaign of chaos over pay. BALPA union said that BA's failure to meet its demands during the long-running dispute could lead to a damaging escalation. BALPA said its members, including captains paid an average of £167,000, are prepared to take part in further strikes until its mandate for action ends in January, with another strike already scheduled for September 27. BALPA said yesterday, "Our ballot allows us to take action at any time." Higher-earning pilots have reportedly discussed sustaining months of industrial action by crowdfunding among themselves to help less senior members. Strikes during the hectic Christmas holiday period would be hugely problematic for the airline. In addition, more than 4,000 cabin crew have had disruption to their rosters, and in many cases will be unable to operate again for several days due to legal rest. requirements. Every single flight movement also has to factor in detailed planning, including engineering checks, maintenance, catering, fueling, baggage loading, cargo and cleaning. Departures from London Heathrow this morning appear to be mostly unaffected, but there are still a number of cancelled flights. The cancellations appear to be hitting departures to European destinations. The 8:20 a.m. flight to Geneva, the 8:45 a.m. flight to Aberdeen and the 8:55 a.m. to Charles de Gaulle were cancelled. There are 10 cancelled flights between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. It was reported today that striking British Airways captains have been hit in the pocket by an average of £20,820.47 in pay and other benefits. In a leaked document seen by The Sun, BA bosses outlined some of the cuts those that took part in the walkout will now face. According to the paper, each striker was deducted £3,320.47 for 23.83 bidline hours, which was the credit value for the trip impacted by the industrial action. Any new trip within the next 5 days will only be paid at a single rate, rather than a premium fee, costing captains, depending on the salary, an approximate £1,000. They are also no longer eligible for the annual all-colleague bonus, costing them an average £1,000. The ban lasts for 3 years, meaning a £3,000 shortfall, the paper reports. Another PR disaster for the head of IAG. The pilots' strike is the latest in a string of controversies to hit Willie Walsh, the head of IAG, which owns B.A. Writing in the Times yesterday, Alistair Osborne laid the blame firmly at Mr. Walsh's feet, despite the flack taken by the head of the airline, Alex Cruz. Not that Mr. Walsh, of course, is anywhere to be seen. He wrote, "No, he's done his usual disappearing act, perfected for when things go wrong at B.A. The business responsible for 2/3 of IAG's €3.23 billion operating profits last year. Other PR disasters to hit Mr. Walsh include ending free food on short-haul flights and grounding 75,000 passengers when an IT contractor tested the airline's uninterruptible power supply to the limit, and 380,000 customers' bank details were hacked, causing a £183 million fine. Pilots were also instructed they have been stripped of the deferred bonus plan, costing them an average of £2,000 or £6,000 over 3 years. BA also yesterday underlined to pilots the staff travel is axed for 3 years. Pilots lose unlimited 10% standby flights for friends and family, costing them an approximate £1,000 a year, or £3,000 total. They also lose out on confirmed hotline flight bookings, predicted to cost him £500 a year, or a 3-year sum of £1,500. Yesterday planes were grounded for yet another day, with only a few BA flights scheduled from Gatwick and Heathrow. Long-haul flights resumed to places like Dubai and New York after midnight. When the strike action ended, the union is still planning a further 24-hour strike on September 27, unless the deadlocked row is resolved. BALPA said the strike cost BA £40 million a day. Striking pilots are also counting the cost after being stripped of the staff travel perks for the next 3 years, it has emerged. Cockpit crew have reportedly lost access to the 90% discount on any flight, which will also hit the family and friends who benefited from the deal. They will also not be able to use hotline bookings, which confirmed flights at a discount, in a move that will cost him tens of thousands of pounds. The arrivals hall in Terminal 5 at Heathrow Airport, London, on day one of the first ever strike by British Airways pilots. British Airways planes parked at the engineering base at Heathrow Airport on Monday morning. The hardest hit will be crew who live overseas and use the perks to commute to work from Heathrow or Gatwick. What travel perks do BA pilots get? All BA staff benefit from Fly the World staff travel. The BA website explains that from day one staff can purchase discounted commercial tickets, known as hotline tickets, used for staff or for friends and family. After what BA describes as a qualifying period, staff will be eligible for unlimited standby and premium standby fares on the full BA network and other partner airlines. Some of the discounts can be up to 90%. After 5 years, staff are eligible to one concession per year for them and their friends and families. They just have to pay taxes and charges. In the ongoing dispute, B.A. has offered a pay rise of 11.5% over 3 years, which it says would boost the pay of some captains to £200,000, but B.A.C says its members want a bigger share of the company's profits. B.A. spent weeks offering refunds to passengers or the option to rebook on another date of travel or an alternative airline. Both sides have said they want to resume talks, but there is little sign of the deadlock being broken. B.A.C said the strikes had been a powerful demonstration of the strength of feeling of B.A. pilots, and urged the airline to return to the negotiating table with some meaningful proposals to try to avert the next scheduled strike. A union statement said, should British Airways refuse meaningful negotiations, further strike dates will be considered by the B.A.C National Executive Team. General Secretary Brian Stratton said, surely any reasonable employer would listen to such a clear message. Stop threatening and bullying, and start working towards finding a solution. Why have B.A. pilots gone on strike? British Airways has cancelled most of its flights because of the first ever strike by its pilots. Q, who is on strike. Members of the British Airline Pilots Association, B.A.C, which represents the majority of B.A. pilots. Q, what is the dispute about? Pay. B.A.C says its members want more of a share of B.A.'s profits. Q, how much have they been offered? B.A. has offered a pay rise of 11.5% over 3 years, which has been accepted by unions representing other B.A. workers. Q, how many flights have been cancelled because of the strike? B.A. said more than 1,700 flights were being cancelled on Monday and Tuesday. Q, how many passengers have been affected? Around 195,000 people would have flown with B.A. over the 2 days. Q, has B.A. been receiving many calls from passengers? B.A. says it has expanded its customer relations teams since the strike dates were announced last month, and has received 111,000 tweets and almost 400,000 calls a day. Q, what alternative arrangements has B.A. been making? Tens of thousands of people have had refunds or rebooked flights with B.A. or with other airlines. Q, are any more strikes planned? B.A.C has announced a 24-hour stoppage on September 27 if the dispute remains unresolved. Q, how much do B.A. pilots earn? B.A. says its pay offer will take some captains to more than £200,000 a year after 3 years. B.A.C says £100,000 is a more typical basic wage. Q, are any talks planned between the two sides? Not at the moment. Meetings have been held in recent weeks, but they failed to break the deadlock. Q, are industrial relations at B.A. in a bad state? There have been disputes over the years, but relations had been good until the pilots' row flared. Q, how much are the strikes costing B.A.? B.A.C says each day costs B.A. £40 million, claiming that settling the dispute would cost £5 million. Read more. Let's block ads. Why?